Users of Reddit, what's the dumbest thing someone has ever said to you? I have a friend who doesn't believe many things if he hasn't experienced them himself. He told me he doesn't believe allergies are real. I asked why not? He replied, well, I've never had them. It's all in people's minds. From a guy I was working with. Hitler could have saved himself a lot of trouble if he just would have put all those Jews on the Titanic. I felt like I was having a stroke. Had a guy I was working construction with say I hope the sun comes up on that side today pointing west because yesterday it came up on this side and it was so hot with us being on the east side of the building. Yeah, but that's not how the sun works lol. Was at a friend's place once, years ago. We were late 20s, early 30s? Farm, on the prairies. Her not the sharpest tool in the shed boy toy was trying to determine which way was east, west, north, south. This is as the sun was setting. She points at the sun going down, and says, the sun sets in the west, and rises in the, while turning and pointing in the opposite direction. He thought real hard, and was very pleased when he proclaimed the correct answer. Morning. I often hoped he didn't procreate. IT work a few years back. Had a director blow up after day 2 of trying to resolve a complex firewall issue that was affecting the finance department receiving invoices. And I quote, stop trying to figure out what the problem is and just fix IT. That the Golden Gate Bridge connects North America and Europe. Yeah. Don't even ask. I don't know if an egg is a fruit or vegetable. I work in the restaurant industry. I was refilling items on the breakfast buffet, and this lady walks up to me and blurts out, I want some of that and points. Keep in mind this is during COVID and I don't want to directly be placing food onto people's plates. And we don't usually do this anyway. So I give her a polite response like oh yeah it's really good today. And she then asks me, how do I get the stuff over there? I just look at her dead-faced and say, walk around the buffet. You really see the dumbest people in the services industry. You shouldn't drink carbonated water, it's full of carbs. I'm rarely at a loss for words but I almost lost brain cells when I heard that. I had a middle-aged neighbor guy tell me my grandpa's stage 4 kidney cancer would go away if he just switched to drinking distilled water for a few months. He was 100% serious. Isn't it amazing how dogs just come out knowing commands like sit and lay down? The man was stone cold serious. I thought windmills cooled down the earth to stop global warming. Some guy on a Discord server insisted Pakistan is in Africa. I told him that Pakistan is in Asia and he called me racist and had a little rant. When I was doing tech support. How do I type the upside down I? Ma'am, that's an exclamation mark. A friend of mine asked me why we didn't see stars when we flew over them. She truly believed that when you were flying on an airplane, you flew over the stars. I was speechless. Used to work in Yellowstone. The amount of stupid coming through the park is unimaginable. Had a bison come and lay down close to the boardwalk at Old Faithful. A woman holding a toddler started running up to it. Luckily I had grabbed her by the back of her shirt and pulled her down. She kept screaming she was going to sue me and the lodge for ruining her perfect vacation photo. Then watching a 20-something walking out of the lodge in a swimming suit to go soak in the pots. Telling another tourist that he could not walk off the boardwalk. He became angry and demanded to be allowed to do this. When this happens we are on high alert. We always had to watch tourists, like they had IQs of 10. A supervisor told me you can only get sick if you want to be sick. I live in New Mexico currently. One time my mom was on the phone with some lady, and they argued with her about whether or not New Mexico is in the US. Then she proceeded to argue with my mom about how to spell Albuquerque. Like, okay, my mom lived in Albuquerque during the time, she should know more than anyone. From a family member, years ago, my husband and I are having problems, so we're trying for another baby. That should make things better. I smiled inanely and walked away, stunned. An American girl told me once that Hitler would have killed me during World War II because I'm blonde and I got blue eyes. I'm German BTW. Last month a coworker asked if I'll run out of blood eventually because donate very couple months. He's 34 years old. Former boss told me his girlfriend at the time, who lived in the US, couldn't FaceTime him because they don't have that over there yet. Was talking to the cashier at a 24-hour Tesco's at about 1 in the morning and he said, I don't mind working nights because I'm a necrophile. Me, do you mean nocturnal? Me, the IT person, walking past a user in the office, that was at her desk. Her computer was slow that day. No one ever realized that having open 12 programs at once and 15 tabs in Internet Explorer would slow down the junky PCs we had. I said it over and over, but what would the IT guy know about computer performance? She yells out, my computer is connected with a blue network cable and the rest of yours are all yellow. Mine must connect somewhere else and that's the reason why it runs so slow. I'm never going to quit smoking cigarettes. My aunt was healthy until she quit. Then she was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. This was said to me by my manager at a Domino's Pizza, Pennsylvania, USA. I didn't have the time or energy to explain to a man 3 decades my senior that she probably had cancer for a long time, but didn't go to the doctor until she was feeling withdrawal from the nicotine. So we finished our cigs and went back to slinging pizzas. I quit smoking and delivering pizza not long after. I don't mean to stereotype, but you look too white to speak Spanish, after I told my college suitmate that I was taking Spanish courses. Coming from a girl that always denounces stereotyping. Babies who are born through C-section get autism. Lesbian? I thought you were American. Tigers are girl lions, said by my 40-year-old ex-boyfriend who is a nuclear engineer. I had an acquaintance claim that the earth must be flat because nobody's talking about the white landmass around the map and how it's a cover-up. He was pointing at the white rectangular border of the paper. While I was in college for an earth science degree, I served at a restaurant. The owner of the restaurant asked me if I knew what the moon was made of or how it was made. So I gave him a concise and correct response. He looks at me and goes, "Oh, that's what you think? Let me tell you what no one in the government will say." Then proceeds to tell me how everything I am learning is a lie perpetrated by corporate interests and that the moon was made by a group of scientists 3 billion years in the future, who travel 6 billion years back in time and create the moon. He was dead serious. This dude was not joking. This was also in 2013, long before the Q-nuts, which I absolutely guarantee he is one. I'm studying physics at uni. Oh cool. Like ESP, mind over matter stuff? He seemed disappointed when I said no. I'm a skydiver. I once had a woman ask me if the plane stops for us to get out. Yeah, it parallel parks next to the 747. Someone once said that they couldn't wait for Halloween to fall on Friday the 13th. I was at the mall when this girl approached me and tried to pressure sell me iPhone screen protectors. I told her that I already have one on, which I installed myself. She replied, "No, you don't." Not me, but a friend of mine traveled to the US with her family when she was younger. Upon hearing her family's accent, an American asked, "Where are you guys from?" The answer was Australia, and that person confidently responded with, "Ah, which state is that?" When I was in the States, over 20 years ago, someone asked me, "Where are you from? Your accent is really nice." I told them I'm from England. They replied, "Oh, I've heard of England. Is that in London?" During the same trip, another person asked me the same question, so I gave the same answer, England. They refused to acknowledge that England was a country and they insisted that English was a language created by the USA. This same person then informed me that I lived in the UK, which was a region of the country Europe. In both instances I just smiled and walked away. You can only get AIDS from butt stuff. This is from a guy who thinks pulling out is a good method of contraception and never uses condoms. When I was in 5th grade in Mississippi, a girl asked me if I saw everything flat because of the shape of my eyes. I am Asian. My boss, after I had to leave work to save my suicidal mother-in-law, "When you leave like that, it's not fair to us because you just leave us hanging. Why don't you go back to where you came from?" Racist guy at the grocery store checkout. I'm Native American. This is literally where I came from. My older brother, M20, you know why they call it a lucid dream? Me, yeah, it's when you're awake/aware that you are in a dream and can usually control it. My older brother, no, a lucid dream is a lewd dream. Why do you think they call it that? I wish I was making this up, but no, my brother is just this dumb. When my former coworker said that she doesn't wear a seatbelt, even though she drives 95 to 100 miles per hour, because she wants to be able to escape her car when, not if, but when, she crashes and it catches on fire. I kindly informed her that at the speed she likes to drive, she will absolutely not have to worry about being trapped in a burning car.